Citi Field has been a beacon for the New York Mets this year. Tough road trip after tough road trip, they've been able to come home and find success, and now trying to find some success with some younger faces in the lineup, trying to get their season righted with 7 weeks to go. At Citi Field in New York, the New York Mets play the Colorado Rockies. Mets baseball on SNY is presented by Delta, and tonight's game is presented in HD by IOTV. Get your HD free with IOTV. And a pleasant good evening, everybody, and welcome to Citi Field. I'm Gary Cohen. Ron Darling joins us in just a moment as the Mets play a 3-game series with the Colorado Rockies, opening tonight a 6-game homestand, 3 with Colorado and 3 with Philadelphia. The Mets come off a 2-4 road trip, a crucial one, to Atlanta and Philadelphia that's knocked them 8.5 games off the pace in the National League East. It was a very rough road trip for the middle of the Mets batting order, and to that end, Carlos Beltran, who had the day off along with the rest of the team yesterday, is out of the lineup tonight. And the Mets obviously need to get a lot more from the middle of that batting order, particularly tonight, Ronnie, from David Wright.
Well, they really do. David really struggled on that road trip, 2 for 23. And Jerry Manuel, I think the best words ever said, if the middle of the lineup does not wake up and wake up quickly, they're going to be in big trouble.
In town are the Colorado Rockies, who are fighting for their lives themselves in the National League West, and they bring in one of the best players in Major League Baseball. The Mets played the Rockies back in April, and Carlos Gonzalez was hurt and didn't play in any of the 3 games. Well, he's been back in force ever since, and he is not only an MVP candidate, he's a Triple Crown candidate.
He really is, with those 25 home runs, 77 RBIs, and he's even been hotter of late the last 2 weeks, batting almost 500. Player of the week. Here's a guy that was traded for Danny Herron, traded for Matt Holliday, but he's found a home in Colorado.
Meanwhile, in Colorado, Ubaldo Jimenez has continued his fine season. He stumbled a little bit going into and coming out of the All-Star break, but he's back in form now.
Well, think about it. He can be had. In his last 8 starts, he's had given up 6 runs 3 times and 7 runs once. But to tell you the truth, he's having a Cy Young kind of year. 17 wins. If he wins tonight, it'll be a franchise record for the Rockies. And going up against a pitcher who's not been very hot, of course, you Met fans know, and Mike Pelfrey really trying to find his way. Worked in between starts with Dan Worthen to try not to tip off his breaking pitches. If he does that tonight, he should be much more successful.
Pelfrey started his season almost as hot as Jimenez. The last 2 months have been a different story. It's the Mets and the Rockies for the first of 3 from Citi Field. All the action coming up tonight on SNY. To you by Geico, by AT&T, Rethink Possible, by Frostbrewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer, by Delta, New York's most global airline, is a proud sponsor of the New York Mets, by your local tri-state Audi dealers, and by freescore.com. Turn a credit score triple play at freescore.com. 3 scores, 1 source, freescore.com. In the continuing effort to support research to find a cure, Stand Up to Cancer and MLB.com have partnered to create a unique opportunity for you to personally dedicate a virtual piece of Citi Field to someone touched by this disease. Go to MLB.com/standupstadiums and join together to strike out cancer. Here's your New York Community Bank Around the Majors for tonight. Skip Schumacher had a grand slam. Chris Carpenter won his 13th, and the Cardinals beat the Reds 7-3 to tie for first place in the National League Central. David Price, 15th win of the year. It took him 115 pitches over 5 innings to do it, but no Ray had ever won 15 before as he beat Detroit 6-3, and the Mariners fire manager Don Wakamatsu. Darren Brown, the interim manager, managed 1,485 minor league games before taking over and getting a win over Oakland last night. The Mariners even turned a triple play. Some of the crowd gathered at Citi Field tonight as the Mets and Rockies get set to open a 3-game series. First pitch, dead ahead. Colorado Rockies. We mentioned Carlos Gonzalez in the opening. Troy Tulowitzki, 12 games back from the disabled list, has provided quite a good cover for Gonzalez, who's just been off the charts since Tulowitzki came back. The Rockies have won 7 of their last 10 and start the night 6.5 games behind San Diego in the West and 5 out in the wild card.
Well, Pelf is going to try to right that ship. Almost historical numbers in his last 30 innings. He's allowed 80 base runners. But he's going to have to try to hold this team off in the first inning. He's given up runs in 10 of his last 11 starts in the first inning. And when the Mets opponents score first, the Mets are 12-37. Here's the Mets defense. Chris Carter gets the start in left field. Presented to you by Lexus. Pagan in center field as Beltran gets the night off. Fernando Martinez batting that second hole in right field. Right, Reyes Tejado's the everyday second baseman, and Davis and Josh Tolley, who seems to be the everyday catcher, getting another start.
Interesting that with Beltran not playing tonight, Frank Hoare sits on the bench even after Jerry said he was going to try and get Frenchie some work against right-hand pitchers as we went forward.
Yeah, I think with Frenchie, a mini all-star break for him, right? 3 more days, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday off now for Frenchie. But it would have been Halladay on Sunday. That's Jimenez tonight. 2 awfully good right-handers.
And the Mets did pretty well against Halladay. They got 5 runs off him in 7 innings, which I guess you'd have to count that as a small victory, yes, even though they didn't win the game. Dexter Fowler will lead things off against Pelfrey. And Mike just trying to survive the first inning. He's allowed a first inning run in 10 of his last 11 starts after giving up just 1 first inning run in his first 11 starts. Dexter Fowler leads things off, and the first pitch of the night is taken high for ball 1. Fowler, a switch hitter early in the season, really struggling from the left side to the point where they considered taking left-hand hitting away from him. He's still a better right-hand hitter than left, but he has picked it up a little bit from this side of the plate.
Just an amazing athlete who's trying to learn how to hit in the major leagues.
He was a baseball prospect at the University of Miami and a basketball prospect at Harvard. Here you see Pelfrey's first inning numbers, both early and late. 2-2 to Fowler, who had to sit out 3 days last week after a very hard, jarring collision into the center field fence. Came back over the weekend in Pittsburgh, where the Rockies split 4 games. And Pelfrey missing badly, and it's 3-2. So Todd Helton on deck, then Carlos Gonzalez for the manager Jim Tracy. And Pelfrey with a good sinker strikes out Fowler for the first out of the night.
Well, what I love about this pitch that Mike threw, 3-2 fastball, he just threw it as hard as he could on that outside corner, let it go. Not aiming the baseball so far.
Well, the talk all during the week since Pelfrey's last start has been about a change in arm speed as Todd Helton steps in with 1 out. I guess the biggest question is what has changed with Pelfrey since his successful days early in the season to where he's been, if indeed arm speed was the issue.
Well, just from me watching Pelf, I think that he got into a mode of trying to hit the corners and trying to be kind of a dart thrower, and that's not his game. His game is to be aggressive, keep the ball down. He's got to have to pitch some of these left-handers in and get them to put the ball in play 3 or 4 pitches into the at-bat.
Helton lifts one to right center. Over in the gap goes Pagan, and he's calling, and so is Martinez. And fortunately, Pagan able to make the grab as Martinez just barely peeled off at the last moment.
Well, these are the things that happen when players have not played all season together. Fernando Martinez, a little excited being a young player, wants to make that play. Always got to keep your head up and your ears open to listen to that center fielder.
That's a fine play by Pagan to avoid the collision and catch the baseball. So a scary second out, and now here's Gonzalez, now leading the National League in batting at .327, tied for 4th in the league in home runs and 3rd in RBIs. He's been that good. Gonzalez, just 24 years old, has been traded twice since originally being signed by the Diamondbacks. First time for Dan Herron, the second time for Matt Halladay. The Mets missed Gonzalez when they were in Denver back in April. He was sitting out with a minor leg injury. I mean, look at that.
Wow.
And he's just been scorching hot the last 2 weeks. 8 homers, 15 RBIs, a .482 average the last 2 weeks.
17 runs scored. Here's the motion by Pelf on our Ultra Mo camera. High leg kick for Pelf. One thing you don't see, though, see that back leg? Doesn't really fire off that rubber. That's the one thing that Pelf, as he moves along, that'll be something that he would want to improve on, is to really use that big body of his. He's 6'7", 240. He's able to use those legs. Talking about a long career.
What would be the advantage in terms of using his legs?
Well, one, he wouldn't get tired as much early in the game. It also, he would keep his stuff throughout the whole year. And I think, personally, he'd throw a little harder.
So that's the immediate impact.
It was a nice pitch to see as we see Tulowitzki on deck. That inside fastball that straightens up the left-handed hitter.
Three-two from Pelfrey, and Gonzalez fouls off the fastball. Baldo Jimenez getting ready to take the mound here at Citi Field. Mets will be facing Jimenez for the first time this season.
15 wins last season for Jimenez, and he's just taking it to a whole nother level.
Next win, he'll become the Rockies' all-time single-season victories leader. And Pelfrey with a fastball strikes out Gonzalez. So a fine first inning for Pelfrey. That's a nice start. Jose Reyes leads off against Ubaldo Jimenez in the bottom of the first. Reyes riding a 6-game hitting streak and taking on Jimenez. Lifts one out to shallow left. In comes Gonzalez to call. One away. Here's your Geico Mets starting lineup for tonight. Fernando Martinez moves into the 2-hole, and Angel Pagan batting third. Jerry Manuel said tonight before the game, I think Pagan may be our best 3-hole hitter, which will make it interesting when Carlos Beltran returns to the lineup tomorrow night to see where he goes.
There's the Toyota numbers on Jimenez, and yes, all those numbers are correct. 17 and 2, 2.61. Only has allowed 7 home runs this season.
Fernando Martinez making his second start since being called up. Fernando went 1 for 4 in the game on Sunday in Philadelphia. Hit .255 in Buffalo this year in 68 games. As the changeup sits high, 2-1. Fernando still looking for that first pro season where he plays 90 games. That's what the Mets were hoping for this year, a full season in AAA. But he spent a month on the disabled list with a hamstring injury, so that didn't come to pass. The talent's there. He's still only 21.
You know, Jerry was asked about Fernando Martinez. He said, I love his talent. Love watching him play. He's done some good stuff in spring training, but it's hard to judge players then. Beautiful look at that sinking fastball from Jimenez.
And the fastball high for ball 4. So Martinez works out a walk. Yeah, Jimenez will walk people. He's 6th in the National League in walks.
There's the Coors Light Rockies defense. Gonzalez in left field. Fowler, lots of speed in center. Brad Hop, not much speed in right field. Stewart, Tulowitzki, one of the best shortstops in the game. Varmus and Helton. And Miguel Olivo behind the plate.
Remember him?
Yes.
He was involved in the little set 2. The final weekend of the season when he was with the Marlins at Shea Stadium. Well, here's Pagan, 7th in the National League with that .311 batting average. And he takes a strike from Jimenez.
Yeah, he went after Jose Reyes and almost ended up hurting Sandy Alomar Sr.
Sandy was brave.
He was brave.
Right in the middle there. And a fastball blown by Pagan. It's 0-2.
There's a phrase that baseball players use about a pitcher. They'll say, hey, he throws easy gas. What does that mean? Well, with little effort, Jimenez gets that ball up there 95, 96 miles an hour, and you just can't catch up to it.
I haven't seen Pagan beaten with high fastballs very often this year. This gives you an idea of the kind of stuff Jimenez has. Good stop by Olivo, keeping Martinez at first. Look at that. Talk about getting off to fast starts. 2-2. Popped up in foul ground. Stewart over for a look. But that'll be beyond his reach. And Pagan stays in with a 2-2 count. Pablo Jimenez now 26 years old. Since the 1st of August last year, he is 25-5. Game winners have been tough to come by in Major League Baseball over the last few years, but it looks like we're headed for a few of them this year. And since the All-Star break, 26-5. 3-2. Martinez not going, and it's on the outside corner. Pagan down looking. So Jimenez has his first strikeout. 2 out of the inning.
You take a fastball hitter and a 3-2 count. He knows it's coming and still can't pull the trigger. That tells you the kind of stuff that Jimenez has. Great fastball movement, some of the best in the game. He's fearless inside to the hitters. He's hit 5 hitters so far this year. And one of the things we talked to Bob Apodaca, the pitching coach for the Rockies, incredibly intelligent young man is Ubaldo Jimenez.
Inside Pitch brought to you about the Xerox business of baseball. Xerox, ready for real business. David Wright, after a very disappointing road trip, comes home and hits the first pitch on the ground sharply for Tulowitzki, and that'll do it for the Mets in the bottom of the 1st. Pelfrey back to the mound for the 2nd inning when we come back. against Mike Pelfrey, and we are thrilled to have with us in the booth tonight Jets owner Woody Johnson. Woody, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. Well, good. It's great to be here. What a perfect night for baseball.
It's nice to have the Jets back in Queens for one day. It's been a long time, but this is a big week for the Jets. Hard Knocks is starting tomorrow night.
Yeah, we had a big rally in Times Square today that was, oh boy, was it exciting. We had Rex on the big Jumbotron in Times Square, tens of thousands of people. I thought they were all Jets fans.
Well, I'm sure they were. There's some scenes from the rally today.
There it is.
Got the flight crew out there and everything.
Strong. Oh, look at him. There's a young supporter.
Hard hats for Hard Knocks.
Yep.
Very nice. Tell me about the decision to have the Jets be involved with Hard Knocks. Was it a tough call to make?
I'll tell you, it was a call that took up me about 2.5 seconds. Because it kind of fits with Rex's personality, what he's trying to accomplish. He wants to let the fans in on exactly everything we do. There's no constraints on players talking to the press. He wants them all to talk to the press. You just have to mention other players. Got a couple rules. And that's the kind of rule that, kind of melds with the coach. But we want to, this is not a secret. We want to share it with the public.
What's one of the things about owning a sports franchise in New York? It presents some difficult challenges.
Well, it's just like your sport. I mean, everything you do is known immediately by everybody, and everybody has a strong opinion of what you're doing. So that's one of the things that goes with it. But I mean, it's the same as any sport. I mean, there are, fielding a good team, finding good announcers, finding good coaches. And really identifying talent. That's all it is. It's a people business. The teams that are successful are teams. And you know that, Ron.
Yeah. There was a time, speaking of being an owner in New York, when you were more in the background. And you've really come forward and been more of a visible presence as the Jets owner over the last couple of years. What got you to that point?
Well, I think there's an apprentice process that happens in all sports, and particularly football. And after the West Side Stadium situation collapsed, then we were on a new watch. We really I had to step out. And I think the fans want to know, they want to have confidence that from ownership to coaches to players that you've got a plan in place for taking them where they want to go. Mm-hmm. And they get a confidence level, so they have to see you out there, really.
How much of an effect has Rex had on you in terms of your public persona?
He's positive. I mean, he's been great.
I mean, I would think that he would make anybody more. I mean, he's
I think he wants everybody wants to play for him, including me. If I had any talent, I would do it.
Of course, what most Jet fans want to know about more than anything else today is the Darrelle Revis situation. When you get into a contract issue like this, 99 times out of 100, there's a compromise made at the end of the day. Sometimes it's in the 11th hour.
Right.
How much and how often do you and Darrelle and his representatives speak?
I haven't spoken to Darrelle or his representatives at this point. I've made myself available. I said last week that I or the coach are available anytime to discuss his contract with the player, with Reeves. That hasn't happened to this point. We had a meeting last week with Mike, and we asked whether Rex or I should go to that meeting, and they told us no, so we didn't attend.
What is your level of confidence at this point that you'll have the player back this year?
I think my confidence, as I've said, at this point is low because the two sides are too far apart. We have to get, an area that's, good for the Jets. If it's something good for the Jets and good for the player, we can do it. And we've got a contract.
Right.
So it would be something that would have to be, something in it for the Jets to do it.
Well, moving forward, what are the fans going to love about their new stadium?
where do you start?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just it will be a totally different experience from where the stadium is, the parking, the ingress. We have a train, so we're going to have train gating. And I mean, the stadium itself will be tighter than the old stadium. It's tighter. There's a wall at either end. As the opposing team comes in, there's a wall of people. We had to spend a lot of money on steel to make it more vertical, to give the feeling of, that 12th man.
That's right.
That can help you out.
1 out and 1 on here for Ian Stewart after the walk to Brad Hopp. Now, clearly, the PSLs haven't gone as fast as you like. Has it been surprising to you that it's been this challenging to get it done?
Not really. I mean, it would be surprising if we were in the same economic situation that when we started. But I'm surprised in a way how fast they're going and how fast they have gold. In fact, they will essentially be sold out 5 weeks from now. So that surprised me. There's an amazing demand for them.
Only throws without Hopp running. That was odd.
Well, Hopp faked to go to second base and totally bit, so he threw it down there. Do you think it's going to be? Do you think it's going to be difficult this year? I mean, one of the challenges is that you guys are being talked about as a Super Bowl contender, and that's great. You want that to happen every year, but it's going to present some challenges too.
Well, yeah, and those are the good kind of challenges. I mean, I think if you look at what we've done in the offseason, the players we've added, the maturity we've added in some instances with Jason Taylor, you've got Chris Jenkins back. You've got Antonio Cromartie as a new addition. Very good. Yeah. Probably the most gifted athlete. One of them on the team. And Kyle Wilson we picked up at corner side.
Base hit for Ian Stewart, and the Rockies have 2 on.
Yeah, I think we've improved.
Great. When you look at Mark Sanchez going into year 2, what do you see, and how do you see him as better this year than he was in his rookie year?
Well, hopefully, Ron knows a lot about being a rookie, but he had like 3 seasons. He had his first couple games that he won, then he had his slump games in the middle where he couldn't get it together. We put a wristband on him. That slowed the game down for him, and then he had a strong finish. He's worked extremely hard in the offseason. He had all his guys out with him in Mission Viejo, California. And I think he's got that chemistry. He's starting to get that chemistry.
Well, leadership is so important for any quarterback. And I think, we had Mark in here when he first was drafted, right? And you could just...
What do you guys think of him?
Well, you sense the charisma.
He's just an amazing guy. I think what happens for those rookie quarterbacks is the first year, everything comes so quickly at you. Yeah. Now he's not only going to be the quarterback, but also a leader of the team. And that's sometimes that takes time.
Yeah. There'll be another year for him under Coach Schottenheimer, Coach Ryan. I think he'll be more relaxed, and he'll see his targets better.
Now, Hard Knocks premieres on HBO tomorrow night,
10 o'clock.
10 p.m. Now, how much of a presence do you expect to be in these episodes?
I hope very small. Because it's not about me. It's about the players, the coaches, and the setting, and all that is really the show. And hopefully a lot of insight into the team and who all these guys are, the good, bad, and the ugly. We're going to see we're going to be embarrassed a little bit, I hope. Well,
this is, I think, the 6th year of the series, and they always choose somebody to be an unlikely star. As Tejada cannot complete the double play. And so the inning continues. Nice effort by Tejada in the middle there, but Olivo beats the Rapid first.
Well, the thing with David here, he gets the throw off, and it is accurate, but nice slide there by Hopp going into second base. And just beating out Olivo. Good call at first base.
Good call. That was close.
Phil Cuzzy with the call.
Close. How hard is that play?
That play is hard only because you have a kid who's 20 years old on second base, who's usually a shortstop. It's his first year playing there, and trying to make that play very difficult.
Who would make that? Would anybody make that play on that particular play right there?
Maybe Roberto Alomar in his prime.
Because that seems like he did everything just about right.
That's right.
Reyes makes the unassisted play to end the inning. Well, we really thank you for joining us, Woody. And good luck with the show. I hope it comes out well.
Oh, thank you.
That's what it. Thank you for coming.
Ron. Thank you.
Jets owner Woody Johnson joining us in the booth. Getting ready for Hard Knocks tomorrow night. We're getting ready for the bottom of the second. No score. Ubaldo Jimenez takes on the Mets in the bottom of the second inning, a scoreless game. Ike Davis will lead off. Ike riding a 6-game hitting streak right now, hitting at .253 for the year. Ike was called up right after the Mets played the Rockies in April this year, and so this is the first look that Colorado's had on him. And interestingly, the Rockies are doing something that no other team has done against Ike, and that is overshift the infield. And the curveball in for a strike from Jimenez.
Boy, what an overshift. Third baseman playing it short.
Now, that's fascinating to me because clearly they're going strictly by scouting reports. They've never seen him live before. As that third strike was in the dirt, and Olivo with a low throw, but Helton reaches down to get it. So that's the second strikeout for Jimenez. So for a team to play that radically against a player they've never seen before when nobody else has done it, I think is fascinating.
I think it is too, and they're going just by the spray charts, and they're telling you, because the outfield was playing straight up, that when Ike puts the ball in play on the ground, it's usually pulled. In the air, it's straight away.
We'll see whether he does anything to try and disavow them of that notion. Maybe try to lay down a bunt at some point. Here's Chris Carter. Chris's last start came on July the 31st against Arizona. He has 3 hits in his last 5 at-bats off the bench, including a big double on Sunday, and they're overshifting the infield against him as well. And now Tulowitzki moving a little bit further over and playing more straight up.
Well, it's very strange, especially when you have a pitcher who throws 95 to 96 miles an hour. I think the only way you can do this consistently is that Jimenez is going to pitch the left-handers in, and he's going to steady diet of changeups. And the changeup is going to be a pitch that will tend to be pulled to the right side.
Carter lifts one to shallow left, and over goes Gonzalez. 2 out. So Carter retired, 2 out and nobody on, and Josh Tolley coming up. Josh had a good game on Sunday in Philadelphia, going 3 for 4. Back up to .323 on the year, has done most of his hitting on the road. Josh getting more and more playing time with the injury to Rod Barajas, and there's been no reports at all of Rod doing any baseball activity, so he's not coming back anytime soon. Same can probably be said of Jason Bay. In the air, shallow left center, and over comes Fowler to grab it, and a 1-2-3 inning for Ubaldo Jimenez. Pelfrey back to the mound for the third, no score. or allowed just one hit over the first 2 innings. Here we are. Just bumping again. Keith's a little. They need to iron him.
They do.
Ubaldo Jimenez leads off in the 3rd inning against Pelfrey. 7 hits this year for Jimenez, and he takes a strike. Well, I understand they had quite a dust-up in the Cardinal-Reds game before the game even started tonight, which I guess doesn't come as a huge shock in the wake of some rather inflammatory comments by Brandon Phillips, the Reds' second baseman. Comments we can't completely repeat on television.
We can repeat it once.
Well, if we had a bleeper, we could do that. Strike 3 called. Jimenez is down. That's the 3rd strikeout for Pelfrey. Tony La Russa said that he thought his clubhouse would probably take exception to those comments, and it turns out, I guess, that they did.
Well, Brandon Phillips is a very talented player, but he has a big mouth, and you know, in this day and age, you can sometimes get away with it, but apparently the Cardinals did not allow that.
Here's Dexter Fowler, who struck out his first time up. I wonder how, more importantly, Phillips' teammates feel about having gotten them into the situation where they had to go through a brawl. That could be good or bad, I guess.
Well, the problem for teammates of a guy that says something controversial is now you're brought into it. The reporters come to your locker. They want to know what your take is on it. Most of the time is you don't have any take on it. Can't believe he said that.
Todd Helton on deck. Pelfrey's sticking with the power game tonight. It's working for him. First time through the order. 3 strikeouts, a hit and a walk. 1-2 to Fowler, and he fouls off the fastball. Well, that's a good way to make sure that your arm speed doesn't diminish on your off-speed stuff. Just don't throw any.
Well, I think this is a good thing, too. I mean, his sinker, he could power through the first time through the order. Then after that, you try to introduce a wrinkle here and there.
But the key to that, of course, is, as the breaking ball is down 2-2, is the sinker moving? Because that, as much as anything, has been the issue for Mike. It's not just that he's not locating or that his arm speed is not what it should be. It's that the sinker wasn't sinking.
Yeah, well, it's sinking, but it's not. Doesn't have the late movement, the sharp movement at the very end, because that's the ball that's put into play as a ground ball.
Toward the hole, Tejada can't get it. Tried to make that sliding grab, but came up empty, and Fowler has a 1-out hit. Well, we talked about arm speed. This is what Jerry Manuel had to say about Pelfrey coming into the start.
The arm speed is not the same on all the pitches. What that means is that he can be easily picked up when he slows the arm down to throw a breaking ball or a split or a secondary pitch. It's not the same arm speed. Therefore, he's very recognizable to good hitters.
Well, that's absolutely true. We've heard Keith talk about it all the time. He uses, of course, Western Union, that Mike is telegraphing the pitches to the hitters. But what's more important about that is if you slow your arm down a little bit, you can almost get away with it if you have a great breaking ball and you throw it for a strike. The problem with Mike is that he slows it down. Very few of his split fingers are strikes. Very few of his sliders are strikes. He's probably more in the 50-50 range with those pitches. If he was at the 75-25 range, then you'd be looking at a guy that could get away with that. So I think that's a really good idea for him to try to keep that arm speed up at all times.
Helton takes a strike. I guess what you're saying is that if he's telegraphing it, what he's telegraphing to the hitter is don't swing.
Exactly.
Because it's going to be a ball.
Yeah, as soon as he slows that arm speed down, the hitter's going, okay, here comes the breaking pitch. He never throws it for a strike. I'll wait him out until I get a fastball.
1-1 to Helton.
And the end result is, in the last 30 innings coming into this ball game, Mike has had 80 base runners. That's hard to get it done when you have that many people on every single inning.
I believe the word is unsustainable.
Yeah.
Inside to Helton, 2-1. Very strange to look at Todd Helton's numbers and see his on-base percentage at .344. Todd Helton, who's now 36 years old, came into the season with a career on-base percentage of a staggering .427. The power numbers have been down for a few years now, and now that great on-base percentage is down as well. I wonder what that is. Is that the pitchers feel more comfortable attacking him now that he's not as much of a home run threat?
I think that's part of it. There's a hitting coach, Don Baylor. He didn't mind standing in that box. Hit well over 200 times, right, in the major leagues?
I believe he's got the career record.
Yeah, I think that if it helps us become more of a singles, maybe a double hitter, so the pitchers definitely do attack him more. And also, he was a guy that at least always hit better at Coors Field.
Fowler runs as Helton lifts one to left, and Carter is there to play it for the second out. And Fowler back to first.
And when I used to watch Todd Helton play, you always knew that he was going to hit above 400 in Coors Field and be a little down on the road, but that's been everywhere he's gone now.
And he'd get his 50 doubles a year because of the vast expanses there at Coors Field. And the Rockies, for all the progress they've made over the last few years developing their pitching staff and adapting to playing away from home, they're still a much better hitting team in their own ballpark. And I guess that's inevitable just because of the wide open spaces there, in addition to the thin air. So 2 out and a runner aboard for Carlos Gonzalez, who struck out against Pelfrey his first time up. When Carlos Gonzalez was first moving up through the minor leagues, he drew instant comparisons with Carlos Beltran. And it's interesting to look at him in the batter's box, and you see a little bit of Beltran there.
You do, but the one thing you have here is Gonzalez has one of the prettiest swings you're ever going to see. Carlos, because of the speed, Gonzalez has that speed, ability to hit the ball out of the ballpark, steal bases.
Fowler runs. Gonzalez hits it out to left, chasing Carter back. Onto the warning track, feeling for the wall, but never gets there and makes the catch. Nicely done by Chris Carter to reel it in. Ultra Mo. Very nice. Ruben Tejada will lead off the home third inning for New York. Tejada 0 for 8 since his recall from Buffalo, hitting just .196 for the year. This is his 35th start. And he takes it down from Ubaldo Jimenez, 1-0. That's looking for their first hit off Jimenez, who walked Fernando Martinez in the first inning. That's been their only base runner. Bounce foul. 1-1 to Tejada with Pelfrey and Reyes to follow here in the third. Well, the Mets faced a big-time ace on Sunday at Roy Halladay and touched him up for 5 runs. Now facing another ace in Jimenez. But since the All-Star break, it really hasn't mattered much. Journeyman, rookie, ace. Tejada to dead center, and Fowler back to grab it. 1 away. That's since the All-Star break as a team, hitting just .218. Let's check in with Kevin Burkhardt, who's up in the Pepsi porch. Kevin.
All right, guys. Jeff Francoeur and the Mets are involved in something pretty neat for the community this year. It's called the Pepsi Refresh Project, and a bunch of teams around Major League Baseball are doing it. In New York City, it's involving the public school system, and the goal is to increase attendance and to increase behavior. And basically, there'll be 2 winners in New York City, and those schools will get a $200,000 grant. So today on the field, Jeff Francoeur taking around some of the volunteers who help make this program happen. To be a volunteer, you have to basically commit at least 10 months, and you're a tutor, you're a role model, you're a big brother, big sister, anything that you could help the school system. So it's really a great thing Jeff Francoeur and the Mets are doing. And you could vote, too. You go online to MLB.com/Pepsi Refresh. You could vote and make New York City the winners, guys.
That's terrific.
Anything about mentoring programs here in New York City is just invaluable.
A lot of work to do, and all of it is appreciated. 1-2 to Pelfrey, who has 4 hits this year. Now, the way I gave Don Baylor too much credit, he did hold the modern record for being hit by pitches, but he's second to Craig Biggio, who passed him by a few years ago. Helton with a nice sliding grab, and Jimenez over to cover for the second out. Actually, in point of fact, Baylor is 4th all time because Huey Jennings and Tommy Tucker, before the turn of the 20th century, both had more than he did as well.
That's when you could stand on the plate.
And they probably didn't throw as hard. Didn't hurt as much. You know, there was a time back in, I guess it was the 1870s, when you could ask for the pitch to be high or low.
That's right.
The pitcher had to comply. It's a different game then.
You know, Donnie Baylor, when I think about that 1986 World Series, I always thought he was going to be the guy that could really turn the tide in the Red Sox favor if he had played a little more. Played the DH games, of course, over there in Boston.
He was such a fabulous presence as a player. You know, you talk about clubhouse leadership and all that, and it tends to be overblown, but he was the real deal.
I'll tell you, the first time I faced him in Fenway Park, he's such a big man. He took up the whole batter's box. And the second thing was, he was so far on that plate, it didn't seem like there was any place you could go to get a strike. I don't know what he did against me that game, but I never felt comfortable throwing to him.
Of course, Don spent some time as a Mets coach as well before going back to Colorado, where he had managed earlier in his career. Beating cancer along the way. Took quite a life. Reyes rips one to right at Barmes for the 3rd out. 8 in a row retired by Jimenez. Mets are down 1-2-3. On to the 4th we go with no score. Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by Bob's Discount Furniture, now open in Manhattan off the FDR Drive at 117th Street. Go to mybobs.com for details. Troy Tulowitzki leads off the fourth inning. Grounded out to third his first time up. Tulowitzki missed 33 games with a fractured left wrist. Got back a lot faster than the Rockies expected him to. And he has really been hitting since coming back. Hitting .396 over his first 12 games off the disabled list.
Yeah, he was hit in the hand with a pitch in Minnesota. He's one tough guy, Tulowitzki.
By the way, our statistician Dave Freed is back from a month and a half of vacation. Nobody gets more vacation.
It's unbelievable. This guy takes more cruises than.
He mentions that in Game 4 of the '86 World Series, Don Baylor was 0 for 3 against you.
Oh, okay. Got lucky.
I guess he didn't intimidate you that much.
You know, guys, sometimes I guess the study never ends. I was talking to Tulowitzki today and asked him what he did with that time at home. He said, you know what I did? I had the MLB package, and I had the screen where they show all the games up on one screen. And when I saw certain right-handers like David Wright, I watched David a lot. I watched them, and I watched how they attacked certain pitchers. So I watched Wright and Braun and a lot of these guys and saw how they were pitching and kind of took some mental notes.
Tulowitzki hits one to fairly deep left center, but lots of room out there for Pagan, and that's the first out of the inning.
You know, so even when he's done, rehab and going home, he's still studying. I guess that's what makes him so good.
I'll tell you, Citi Field has already played a factor. There's been 3 or 4 baseballs that would have been out of the.
Well, the one Gonzalez hit in the last inning, the opposite field shot, that certainly would have gone. So 1 out. Here's Brad Hopp, who drew a walk his first time up. It's been a very disappointing year for Hopp. Spent some time on the DL early in the year. Last year, 23 homers, 86 RBIs. This year, 7 and 37.
2 seasons ago, he had 116 RBIs. So.
Fortune's fading.
Great slider there from Pelfrey. Did not tip it off. Good motion. Same motion as fastball. And a short little slider.
And fastball lifted to center. Pagan waiting for it to come down. Got 2 8s on your scorecard and 2 out of the inning. Steven Strasburg came back off the disabled list tonight. Dan Uggla's kind of ruined it for him. Uggla hit a 2-run homer in the first, a 2-run double in the third, and it's 4-0 Florida.
Uh-oh. Shut him down.
Meanwhile, Mike Pelfrey has thrown 10 consecutive first pitch strikes. So he has been in attack mode all night, and it's paying off for him.
Key for me when I watch Mike is what happened in the second inning. When he gets a couple of runners on, how does he react in that adversarial position? When there's people on, people thinking of running, is he still going to execute his pitches? And he did.
That last pitch was interesting, Ronnie, because he certainly slowed down his arm speed to throw that curveball, and yet he threw it for a strike, and he got a swing and a foul ball. And now ahead on Stewart 0-2.
2 breaking pitches to Stewart. Now is when, if I were in his ear, I'd say, Mike, pop this guy inside, back him up off the plate. Here's the break ball again. You see how he kind of lengthens his motion and slows it down. See now, he tried to go inside there, he missed. So in your own mind, you have to say to yourself, I did not go in. That's not effective. So maybe I have to double up in there.
See if Toley's thinking the same way. Moves inside. And he does exactly that. Jams him, and Reyes is there to catch the little blooper to end the inning. Nicely done by Mike Pelfrey. He's thrown 4 scoreless innings. That's come up in the bottom of the 4th against Jimenez with no score. Fernando Martinez takes a curveball for a strike. As we start the bottom of the fourth, Fernando walked his first time up. He's been the Mets' only base runner tonight against Ubaldo Jimenez, who has already thrown a no-hitter this year. The first no-hitter for the Rockies. It was in Atlanta on April 17th. It's two franchises that have had their first ever no-hitter this year. The Rockies and the Rays.
Only a couple left, right, Gary?
That's the truth. You got your San Diego Padres and you got your New York Mets. Now, which one is more fascinating? The fact that the Mets have gone, this is their 49th season, with some of the best pitchers in the history of the game throwing for them and have never had a no-hitter, or that the Padres, who are only 7 years younger than the Mets, have not had a no-hitter or a cycle.
I would call the latter.
That's unbelievable. Because no-hitters and cycles are about as equally rare.
Yeah. Well, I shouldn't laugh. I mean, I'm part of the problem, not the solution. I had my shot, right?
Toward the middle of the diamond. Great diving stop by Barmes, but Martinez beats it out. No-hitter for Jimenez tonight. Fernando Martinez has the Mets' first hit.
Well, nice play by Barmes, but good hitting by Martinez to get that ball up the middle. Look at that full extension.
On Ultramo, he can fly.
Can fly. Only way you can make this play is you have to have the wherewithal to flip it with your glove to the shortstop, Tulowitzki, who has a cannon at shortstop. Could maybe make that play.
So the Mets have the leadoff man on for the first time tonight, looking to break a scoreless tie. Now, Angel Pagan, hitting in the 2-hole the other day, was asked to bunt in a situation like this. He's hitting third tonight. Does that change things? Apparently so. Get to Citi Field Saturday, August 21st at 8 p.m. for Billy Joel, The Last Play at Shea movie premiere. Tickets are on sale now at 507tixx.com.
Well, I'll tell you, Jimenez has decided to just go right after Angel Pagan, whether he's in the third spot in the order or not.
Struck him out, throwing mostly fastballs in the first inning, got him looking on a 3-2 pitch. Now he's ahead of him 0-2. And Angel down swinging at 94-mile-an-hour heat. Third strikeout for Jimenez.
One thing you want to notice in his motion, watch his right arm when he drops it to his side. He really curls his hand around that fastball and grips it. See how he kind of snaps it back there? So then when he proceeds forward, that's where he gets all that incredible movement. That snapping and curling of the baseball, and then as it comes out, that good sinking action.
So 1 out and 1 on. Here's David Wright, who swung at the first pitch and grounded into a force play his first time up. David just 2 for his last 27. And it appears no closer to home plate tonight than he was over the last week.
That's interesting. The Mets, I think, lead the world, as you can see, David, all the way back in that batter's box.
In the air to right field, and Hopp is there. Now that was a mistake by Jimenez, trying to come inside. Didn't get it inside, but got away with it. 2 out.
Well, where he's in problems is that pitch was down and in. Watch the swing by David. Now that is the pitch he's going to handle right now. He's a little late on that ball, but that is the pitch he's going to handle, because the middle of the plate right now is the outside of the plate. The inside of the plate is the center of the plate. Jimenez just beat him, though, to that spot.
There's your PPG Pittsburgh Paints overhead camera.
Oh, beautiful location right on that inside corner.
Here's Ike Davis taking a fastball for a strike.
Ike doesn't like that strike call and is asking Ed Rapuano. Jimenez doesn't need any help, and I think that's what the hitters are trying to find out from Rapuano.
And looking toward the dugout as well and shaking his head. No.
Watch how he just coupled and kind of just wiggles that ball back in there until he can. What that does, that timing mechanism allows him to get the ball out in front. If he did not have that delay, he would come out too early and the ball would be up in the strike zone.
I wonder how difficult it is for the hitter to pick up.
It's really difficult for the hitter to pick up, but also it's very difficult on the front of your shoulder. But if you're 6'5" and you're 240 or 235 and a big strong kid, you can get away with it.
Well, it's his third year in the Rockies rotation and he's never missed a start. He has been a workhorse for them. 148 innings coming into the night, certainly on pace to pitch over 200 innings this year. He's ahead on Davis, 1-2.
Interesting. Fernando Martinez on first base gets a lot of action over there when he's on the bases. Or as a pitcher trying to keep him close.
Now tipped and held by Olivo. Strike 3. Second time Davis has struck out. Fourth of the night for Ubaldo Jimenez. No score through 4. SNY are available in HD, presented by IOTV. And if you're not near a TV, listen to every Mets game on Sports Radio 66 WFAN. 2 more with the Rockies tomorrow night. John Neese and Jeff Francis. Then Thursday afternoon, Johan Santana and Jason Hamill. The Phillies are in for the weekend. And then it's off to Houston and Pittsburgh. First meetings of the year between the Mets and both the Astros and the Pirates. Miguel Olivo leads off in the 5th inning. Hit him to a fielder's choice his first time up.
12 o'clock on Thursday. Is that camp day?
Second one.
Wow, that's great.
First camp day was the Cardinals, right?
That's right.
Olivo played in Kansas City last year, hit 23 home runs, and he got off to a very fast start this year. That's 13 home runs. When Varmus on deck, and then the pitcher Jimenez. Belfry looking better than he has in a long time. His last victory came June the 25th against Minnesota. That's also the last time that Mike went 6 innings.
Yeah.
He's been under 6 innings in 7 consecutive starts. It's just 30 innings over that span. Bouncing ball toward the hole and a base hit for Miguel Olivo. Just the 3rd Rockies hit. And the first time they've had the leadoff man on tonight. Well, the numbers are stark.
Yeah.
Unbelievable in April and for most of May, and then things started to go differently for him.
Yeah, it's been a really upside down season in the beginning of the year. He was averaging about 13, 14 pitches per inning. He's all the way up to 17 plus right now. Giving up lots of hits. Now he's starting to have more walks than strikeouts.
Well, there's been one piece of consistency for him. He's thrown 11 innings against the Rockies this year. He still hasn't allowed a run. I mean, he threw 7 scoreless innings at Coors Field in his second start of the season. Back on the 15th of April. Didn't walk a batter in that game. Clint Varmus sitting 8th in the order, heading to a fielder's choice his first time up. Levo will sneak a stolen base every now and again.
Well, it's interesting about Mike because of sometimes the battles he has with runners on base is he's kind of premeditated when he's going to throw to first base. He decides before he comes to the stretch whether he's going to throw over or not. Because see how close Levo is? It's only about 2 or 3 steps off the base. A lot of times as a right-hander, you can, as you go in the stretch, just take a look at him over there, see where he is. Because why would you want to waste the throw over there when you're trying to get the hitter out?
Well, how much freedom do pitchers have these days to make those decisions on their own?
Well, less than they did.
Well, Levo runs. Toley's throw right on the money, but it's dropped. And Olivo is safe. Looked like Reyes had it and had his man, but couldn't hang on. That ball might have hit Olivo. Let's see.
Well, fastball in. Varmus trying to hit and run. Totally with a perfect throw. Reyes just took his eye off it.
And then it hit Olivo in the helmet after it came off his glove. And, well, that's a hard one to figure.
Oh, yeah. See, his eyes are not in his glove, though. He did not watch that ball into his glove. And Olivo and Reyes, who've had some meetings at third base, meet close up and personally at second. Not a great jump, but you don't want to have a great jump because it's a hit and run. But watch the helmet go right into the left knee, and also the side of the head gets a shot by Olivo.
So Olivo got hit by the ball and by the knee in his helmet. It's a bad combination, but he's all right. They have given him credit for a stolen base. They could have easily scored that, a caught stealing and an error. But Olivo gets credit for his 6th of the year. He ought to. He took a couple of shots. So a runner in scoring position with nobody out. A 1-1 count to Varmus with the pitcher on deck. And he tops one foul.
It was interesting. I honestly never heard the manager say this before. Jerry was addressing that Jose in the last couple of weeks, 3 weeks of the season has gone into a little bit of a fielding slump. And that's something you usually don't hear from a manager. And I know managers, you're always trying to protect your players, but the defense and hustle and those kind of things, you hope you never go into those slumps.
1-2 to Varmus. And it's fouled away. Jerry made the point that he didn't feel as though at all times Jose did the proper pre-pitch preparation. All the things you need to do to be ready.
Well, 2 different things you have to do to be ready as an infielder. One, you have to go through the cavalcade of little things that if the ball's hit to you, what you're going to do with the baseball. And the other thing is that you want to make sure that you get in your ready position early enough and the same every single time.
Varmus takes it inside. It was interesting because before the game today, Jose Reyes was asked about that by a bunch of media people, and he said, well, Chip Hale's on me all the time. He said, well, when I get a little lazy, Chip's always talking to me about being ready, about being prepared. He said, however, that he didn't think that the errors he made on the last road trip were the result of poor pre-pitch preparation.
Well, I think, you know, my answer to that is Jose, despite his young age, has been in this league long enough that there never should be a moment in the field where his mind wanders.
Well, I think also, you know, in the past he had, remember, he had Jose Valentin kind of mentoring him in 06 and 07. Here's the 3-2 to Varmus, and it's lined right to Reyes, and back to second goes Olivo. That's the first down. And I think that Jose did a great job, Valentin did, of keeping Reyes's focus, and also taught him some things about picking up the signs, adjusting accordingly. And I think that at times over the ensuing years, Reyes has, he's learned. He's learned how to change his position based on whether it's going to be a changeup or a fastball. But I think that sometimes that's the kind of thing that they're talking about, that he doesn't do it as much. And those are the little things as you get older that can help you retain, what you lose to age.
Well, you know what's interesting about that kind of stuff? Just like a guy who throws 100 miles an hour doesn't always learn how to pitch, a guy who has great athletic ability sometimes doesn't learn all the little fundamentals that you need to learn as you say, Gary, get older.
Jimenez went down looking his first time up. Amazingly enough for Jimenez, that's a foul ball. For Jimenez, his 54th at bat and only his 10th strikeout, which is that's pretty good for a pitcher. But now Pelfrey has an 0-2 again.
Ubaldo grew up idolizing Pedro Martinez. That was the pitcher that he said the entire country would stop to watch Pedro starts. And I'll tell you, just like Pedro, who had 3 outstanding pitches, 8+ pitches, Ubaldo has the same.
Ubaldo could have been just like Pedro, but he got too tall.
That's right.
(0-2) from Pelfrey. And the slider low and away.
The other thing you get with Mike now, when you get runners on base and he knows he's in a tight game, doesn't want to make any mistakes, the ball game slows down to a crawl for him when there's runners on.
Early in the season, he was working at a very good tempo, keeping his fielders on their toes. And he strikes out Jimenez for the second time. That's 4 strikeouts for Pelfrey. Now there are 2 out.
Well, this has good sinking action on this fastball. Starts in the middle. Doesn't have to go down a lot. About 3-4 inches on that sinker. Ties up Jimenez.
So 2 out. Back to the top of the batting order for Dexter Fowler, who had a base hit just under the glove of a sliding Ruben Tejada his last time up. Rockies have 3 hits. The Mets have 1. This is a Colorado team that lost 8 straight games late last month. But since then, they've turned it around and won 7 of their last 10. And Pelfrey trying to cool them down as they begin a road trip, or continue their road trip tonight. You see the standings in the National League West. The Padres with a 1.5 lead over the Giants, with the Rockies and Dodgers trying to hang on. Colorado also 5 games back in the wild card starting the night. But late season runs, they're in the Rockies' DNA the last few years.
Well, 3 seasons ago, they won 21 of their last 22, something like that. Last year, they started the season 18-28 under manager Clint Hurdle, Jim Tracy given the job, and they went 74-42.
So 2 different managers, 2 different kinds of late season runs. First time in the game that Pelfrey has been behind anybody 2-0. Now it's 2-1 to Fowler. And he takes a strike. Good pitch by Pelfrey. Knees in black. 2-2.
Well, the home plate umpire Rapuano has a very good strike zone for the pitchers tonight. That's a ball you usually see maybe called for a ball low, but he's been very, very good behind the plate, opening up that strike zone.
Oliva was at second with nobody out. He's still there with 2 out and a 2-2 count to Fowler. Back to Pelfrey. Well, Mike Pelfrey with 5 scoreless innings still hasn't allowed a run in 12 innings against the Rockies this year. TV home of the UConn Huskies, with unprecedented access to more than 300 hours of exclusive UConn Huskies programming, including live coverage of UConn football and men's basketball games, plus in-depth pre- and post-game coverage, one-on-one interviews, and player and coach profiles on SNY. Chris Carter leading off in the home fifth inning. Carter flied to left his first time up. You see the other Chris Carter made his major league debut yesterday.
I saw that.
0 for 3 for Oakland. He's considered a fine prospect. I wonder whether Chris will start getting his mail.
Right.
Chris getting the start in left field tonight, just his 17th starting assignment this year. He battles out there in left field. It's not elegant, but it's hard to think of a play that he has not made that's cost the Mets anything this year.
Yeah, no, he's gotten the job done.
Generally, if the Mets have a lead when Carter starts, they'll be out of there in the 6th inning. Here's your Delta 5th inning recap. It's all been about the pitchers. Ubaldo Jimenez allowed just an infield single to Fernando Martinez in the 4th. Mike Pelfrey's allowed just 3 hits and walked only 1 over the first 5 innings. A great bounce back so far for Mike. Line the other way. Carter's got a base hit. So the Mets have their second hit of the game, second straight inning. They've gotten a leadoff base runner. Let's check in with Kevin.
Well, guys, Carlos Beltran out of the lineup today getting a rest, and he had a nice sit-down, closed-door meeting with Jerry Manuel. Jerry told me that he talked about Carlos, about where they both talked about where he is and what he would need to do to get back to playing at a major league level. He said, you know, for me, I told Carlos his defense has got to come first, got to focus on that and come first. And Jerry said, you know, I take it upon myself, too, where it comes to days off. I got to take it upon myself, whereas I know he wants to play, to give him a rest a couple days a week. You know, that was something that Jerry wanted to do early, and he kind of let Carlos, who really wants to play, dictate that a little bit. So he wants to give Carlos a couple days off a week again. I also asked what he thinks the toughest part of it, this whole thing has been for Carlos, just kind of adjusting to trying to find himself. And he said, for me, I think it's his offense. Even though I need to see defense more, I've seen him at the plate crouch down. I've seen him stand up. I've seen him try to do a whole bunch of different things, but I have not seen him comfortable or even look comfortable yet. Guys?
Well, he's adjusting to an entirely different way of feeling in the batter's box wearing that big knee brace. I mean, I hate to keep emphasizing that, but you know, it's kind of like the elephant in the room. Nobody really wants to talk about it that much, but clearly he's a different athlete with the knee brace on his right knee.
And clearly, whether they want to say it or not, it does restrict some of his play.
Was it you or Keith who mentioned it, that it seems to be more of an issue as a left-hand batter because it's that front leg?
It's the brace. Yeah, I mentioned it the other day on Sunday. He has the brace up against that front leg when he's sitting left-handed. Right-handed, he's had a little more success, though not as many at bats. Those are numbers you don't see from Carlos.
2-2 to Tolley, low and away. So Tolley's fought his way back into the at-bat. Now it's 3-2.
And guys, along those lines, Jerry said, you know what, we needed to have that type of talk. So I think they probably talked about a lot of what you guys just said.
Would you consider sending Carter here? Tolley usually a pretty good contact hitter.
I would send him a couple of reasons. One is that you want to get those infielders moving. Tolley's a good contact hitter. Okay, Jimenez can strike you out, but you're not going to put together 4 or 5 hits against this guy. So you got to try to manufacture some offense.
Jimenez thinking in that vein, checking on Carter a couple of times. Well, especially down toward the bottom of the batting order. What's the likelihood you're going to get a couple of hits here and chase that run home? Carter runs, and Tolley fouls it off. So Jerry Manuel thinking the same way. If you ask, do you always get the truth?
What?
Carter asking Barmes if it was a foul ball.
Usually you get the truth on a foul ball, absolutely.
You know, what do you gain by misleading a guy? Then you can deke him better the next time.
That's right.
Carter runs again. Tolley strikes out. Double clutch by Olivo, but he throws him out anyway. And Carter is gunned down for the strike him out, throw him out double play. So a foul tip third strike by Tolley. How about that?
Wow, that's amazing. Foul tip, so he didn't catch it in the webbing. That's why it took him a while. And then Carter slid nowhere near the base. So it made it easy for Barmes to go after him, trying to do that kind of fadeaway slide, but faded away into center field.
Carter still trying to come back at the base and bowling over Barmes after being tagged out.
He's the ultimate bowling.
He is. He's fun to watch. I don't think I've ever seen a player quite like Chris Carter.
So 2 out and nobody on. Here's Ruben Tejada, who flies to center his first trip, and he takes a fastball for a strike. 97 for Jimenez, is just getting started. He seems to keep an extra gear for later in the game.
Yes. Well, when he had that no-hitter in Atlanta, he was throwing 98, 99 miles an hour in the last inning.
Watching some of David Price's game yesterday, watching him throw 100 miles an hour after 100 pitches.
He throws a lot of pitches, though, David Price, and it's going to be interesting to see how much he has left for the playoffs.
If they get there.
Yeah, if they get there.
Grounded down to third. And Ian Stewart throws out Tejada to end the inning. That's going to lead off hit, but the strike him out, throw him out double play gets him out of it. After 5, no score. City Field as the series with the Colorado Rockies continues tomorrow night at 7:10 p.m. Get the best seats direct from the Mets at Mets.com. Here's your AT&T trivia question for tonight. The 5 players to hit 10 or more home runs in a season with both the Mets and the Rockies.
5, huh?
Wow. Todd Helton takes ball 1. Hojo? Did he hit 10 or more for the Rockies?
Yeah,
he was on the downside of his career then. Helton takes low and in, 2-0. Yeah, I'm drawing a blank too.
I don't know that many.
Pelfrey behind 2-0, and Helton takes low and away, and so Pelfrey for the first time tonight falls behind 3-0. Well, that's where Todd Helton ranks among active players in the National League. 519 career doubles. It's strike 3 and 1. Helton followed by Gonzalez and Tulowitzki. A test for Pelfrey here in the 6th as he tries to go 6 innings for the first time since June. And Helton might have swung at ball 4. Now 3 and 2. Helton lifts one foul.
No one needed this start more than Mike Pelfrey. Some positive feedback for the hard work. Critical inning here, though.
Yank foul. It's been a different kind of night tonight for Pelfrey. Only 3 hits and 1 walk allowed over the first 5 innings. This will be the 8th pitch of the at bat to Helton. And another foul ball. We were talking cycles earlier. The 3 hitters up in the inning for the Rockies: Helton, Gonzalez, and Tulowitzki. All have hit for the cycle in their career. Gonzalez did it just recently. Completed the cycle with a walk-off home run.
Walk-off home run. This is the 1-year anniversary of the Tulowitzki cycle.
Is that right?
7 RBIs, 5 hits that night.
Out to left field, chasing Carter back. And Chris grabs it. 1 away. Let's check in with Chris Carlin. He's standing by with a New York State Smokers Quit Line game break. Shades of one Samuel and Norm Charlton at Shea Stadium.
That's right. Wow.
That's the last time I saw feet involved in a baseball fight like that. But that Cueto in that position, and he's going out to the mound to start the game.
Well, that's just going to make that race even better down the stretch.
Well, here's Carlos Gonzalez, who has struck out and fly deep to left, 0 for 2. And he takes a fastball for a strike. Gonzalez homered off Mike Pelfrey last year. Mike trying to work him inside. It's 1-1. It's a little different part of Mike's game. You mentioned earlier, Ronnie, that we haven't seen a lot of.
Pretty simple formula for Mike. When he's going well, he wants to pitch down and away to left-handers, and he wants to back them off the plate inside as much as possible. And why is that? That way they'll get off that sinking fastball that they won't be lining base hits to left field. And then for the right-handers, I think his key is just to stay down across the board, inside and out.
'97th pitch of the night upcoming for Mike. And he gets inside of Gonzalez, who lifts one down the left field line. Foul. There are your wild card standings in the National League. Cardinals and Phillies just a game behind the Giants. Rockies 5 out. Dodgers 5.5. The Mets are next, 8 games out of the wild card. It's a lot of real estate to climb with 5 teams ahead of you. That's right now just trying to get back to 500 with a win tonight. and win a series opening game. That would be big. They've lost 10 of their last 11 series openers. 1-2. Out to left field again, and Carter has to go back onto the track. This one's over his head. Plays it nicely off the wall, but Gonzalez easily into second base with a 1-out double. Well, he hit it a few feet further than he hit it the last time. 18th double of the year for Gonzalez.
And the difference was, Gary, this one's more of a line drive over the head of Carter. Never able to get back there, but played it beautifully off the left field wall. One hopped right in his glove.
So it's the first extra base hit of the night for either side. It looks good in ultra mode. Here's your IOTV pitch differential.
Hit the spot. But when you're facing a red-hot hitter like Gonzalez has been the last 2 weeks, almost hitting 500 during those 2 weeks, they still can hit a good pitch.
So an opportunity for Tulowitzki, who's grounded out and flied out 0 for 2. Tulowitzki hitting .338 with runners in scoring position this year. So a huge batter for Pelfrey with the ice-breaking run at second and 1 out. You better watch Gonzalez because he could steal third.
Yeah, he definitely can steal third, and Tejada, the second baseman, is definitely holding him close. Only problem you have is Tulowitzki in RBI situations loves to shoot the ball to right field.
You also worry about Pelfrey being distracted in a moment like this. The way Gonzalez is dancing off the bag.
But Tejada gets all the way back and in position.
Off the fists. Gonzalez advancing. Reyes with a running throw, and he got him. That ball had a lot of spin on it. Gonzalez wasn't sure at first it was going to land, but he read it well and took third base. Nice play by Reyes.
Beautiful play by Reyes, who read that off the bat very well. Gets it on that little short hop. Made a tough play look very easy.
He had a throwing error in a similar play in Atlanta on the last road trip. But now there are 2 out of the inning. And here's Hop, who has walked and flied to center. The Rockies now 0 for 6 with runners in scoring position against Pelfrey tonight. Mike right at 100 pitches for the night. And another first pitch strike for Mike Pelfrey. What a difference. Back to seeing that confident pitcher we saw back in April and May. And moves Hop back off the plate, 1-1.
It's just been fun to watch. Moving his pitches around, and I love that he's thrown in on the left-handed hitters.
Now the 1-1, up and away, 2 balls and a strike.
And it begs the question is, why would Mike get out of that little niche that he had at the beginning of the year when he was working quickly, pitching in, and all those things? Hard to answer that. You thought he had evolved into a point where that stuff would be second nature, but obviously it has not been.
Well, I think he also fell in love with that splitter, which we've seen very little of tonight. 2-1 to Hop. And again he comes inside. And it's 2-2. So the Rockies had a little different Mike Pelfrey than the one they might have seen on the scouting report.
23 hitters faced, 16 first pitch strikes. You say, how can he fall in love with the splitter? What happens? It's a swing and miss pitch, so it makes you feel good about yourself. You get some strikeouts. But what Mike has to always realize is that he is a sinker ball pitcher. That's the strength.
Two. And a full count to Hop with another left-hand hitter, Ian Stewart, waiting on deck. In Washington, Steven Strasburg's return from the disabled list lasted only 4 1/3 innings. He has left the game. Florida leading Washington 7-1. 3-2 to Hop. And another foul ball.
It's a cruel game, isn't it? Pitches his first time out. Strikes out 7 in a row. 14 strikeouts against the Pirates. It's amazing how quick they make the adjustments. Nobody is perfect for this game.
It's just not that easy,
You know?
Alfred's had a couple of long at bats to negotiate in this inning. Again, the 3-2 to Hop. Pulled on the ground down to Ike Davis. And the side retired. 6 shutout innings for Mike Pelfrey. First time he's gone 6 in his last 8 starts. No score. A warm Tuesday night. Every weekday on SNY, get on the New York Sports Local for all your New York sports needs with diverse personalities debating the top sports stories of the day, plus exclusive interviews and special guests on Daily News Live, Wheelhouse, and Loudmouths, all part of the New York Sports Local weekdays starting at 5 on SNY. Mike Pelfrey leading off in the home 6th inning, 107 pitches under his belt, and he's going to get another inning.
Mike hasn't thrown a lot of innings in his last 7 starts. He should have plenty of bullets left.
I'm sure just thrilled to still be in this game at this point. Now he's up against a worthy opponent in Ubaldo Jimenez as the Mets try and find a way to get Pelfrey a run. And Jimenez might help him out. He's behind 3-1. Jimenez has walked only 1. That was Fernando Martinez, the second man he faced tonight. Averaging about 3.5 walks per 9 innings. There's strike 3-2. Final line on Steven Strasburg tonight: 4 1/3 innings, 6 runs, 6 hits, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. Human. Broken back toward the middle. Barmes on the backhand can't make the play, and Pelfrey's aboard. An infield single for Mike Pelfrey. 3rd straight inning that has begun for the Mets with a base hit.
Oh, nice job by Pelf, just making contact on this ball that runs in on his hands and shatters his bat. The shattering of the bat, I think, took Ubaldo's eyes off that ball, and I think he missed it going up the middle, and Barmes here right off the heel of the glove.
So now you've got Pelfrey at first base with nobody out. Tie game, bottom of the 6th. And here's Reyes, who hit the ball hard his last time up, lining out to Barmes. Corners have to stay in, but you don't think he's bunting. It's taken for a strike.
You want him to be swinging in this situation only because Mike on first base does not have a big lead, does not run that well. And Reyes could lay down a perfect bunt and they could go for the force at second base.
Well, the Mets would probably take that trade. Having Reyes at first instead of Pelfrey. Mets tried to make something happen by putting a runner in motion in the last inning. It cost him a strike him out, throw him out, double play. Now Jimenez ahead 0-2. And Reyes gets a piece of that. It's a foul ball. Olivo picking it up just in case, but it was off Reyes. Making it a foul ball.
Nice pitch count so far for Jimenez.
There's so many incredible statistics surrounding Ubaldo Jimenez right now in this great season that he's put together. Slow ground ball. And that's exactly what's going to happen. They get the force at second. And so Reyes replaces Pelfrey, and that's certainly to the Mets' advantage. Now he can try and swipe one. Fernando Martinez will come up with 1 out and 1 on. Let's check in with Kevin.
I talked to Ken Oberkfell today, guys, the manager of the AAA Buffalo Bisons, managed Fernando Martinez, also managed him in the Dominican Winter Leagues, where he managed that team to the Caribbean World Series, where Fernando Martinez had an outstanding Caribbean World Series. He said Fernando's work ethic has been second to none. However, it changed. It got that way this winter in the Dominican. The first half of the Winter League, I wouldn't say so, but members of the organization, myself included, had talked with him about that, about having to work hard to not just to get to the major league level, but to stay at the major league level. And he got the message. He worked hard, and then he saw the results in the Caribbean Series, and he got it. Because all year at AAA, he's really busting his tail, and Ken kind of said, hey, it's part of his maturation. You know, he's getting it. He's 21 years old. He's getting the whole package, what's involved to be successful. Guys?
Well, I think Jerry talked about it today. He's had success in the Caribbean Series. What he hasn't done is put together an entire season in AAA where he really lights it up.
Or anywhere else in the minors, for that matter. He's never played a full season.
I asked Ken, guys, what has he gotten better at on the field? He said, well, I think you could talk about a number of things, but for me, I've seen an improvement base running this year. I'm not talking stolen bases. I'm talking first to third. I'm talking his jumps off of second, reading the baseball much better than he did last year.
Jimenez ahead on him, 2 strikes. Oh, and he hits him. That's got to hurt. 95 miles an hour. It moves the tie-breaking run to second base, but a very painful way to do it for Fernando Martinez.
Well, coming inside, that ball usually comes back over the plate, but stayed true and got him right in that right lat.
5th batter that Jimenez has hit this year. 3rd time in a row that Martinez has been on base, and so a chance for the Mets' best hitter with runners in scoring position, Angel Pagan, to make something happen. It's been a very rough go of it for Pagan so far against Ubaldo. 2 strikeouts, 1 looking, 1 swinging.
And wouldn't you figure it? Batting in that 3rd hole, he would have the biggest at bat so far in this ball game.
First time in the game the Mets have had a runner as far as second base. Pagan hitting .378 with runners in scoring position, 3rd in the National League. Pagan takes a curveball for a strike. That is what, 14 straight batters now that Jimenez thrown a first pitch strike.
And that's after he's thrown the fastball right by Pagan, and then he starts him off with that curveball. No chance that Angel was looking for that pitch.
So Angel finds himself again in the immediate hole. Jimenez wants Oliva to flash the signs again. Slow ground ball. Barmes goes to first with it. And that's the 2nd out. Runners move to 2nd and 3rd. So now 2 out of the inning. And it's left to David Wright. David tonight has grounded into a force play at 5 to right. 0 for 2. Just 2 for his last 28. Bob Apodaca, the longtime Rockies and before that Mets pitching coach, out to the mound to talk to Jimenez.
Well, the strategy, biggest at bat of the game with runners on second and third, a base open, trying to gauge the temperature of Jimenez. What does he want to do? Does he want to go right after right, or be extra careful and pitch to Ike Davis?
David leads the Mets in runs batted in with 77, tied for third in the National League.
Well, Jimenez, if you think about him going after David Wright, David's been back in that batter's box. He's off the plate, and now they're not going to pitch to him anyways. They're going to walk him.
I don't know about you. I'm very surprised at this. I mean, David has been ice cold at the plate over the last week and a half.
This is a walk by reputation right here.
And then not only that, but you're walking the right-hand hitter to pitch to the left-hand batter in Ike Davis. So a rather out-of-the-box move by Jim Tracy, you'd have to say.
And maybe the unfamiliarity with Ike Davis with Jimenez. He's had 2 strikeouts in his first 2 at-bats. The only problem is if you make a mistake like he did to Fernando Martinez and hit him when you're ahead in the count, you have no place to put him.
So the bases are full. And here comes Ike. 2 strikeouts today. Bases loaded has been a bugaboo for the Mets this year. They're hitting just .213 with the bases full this year without a single grand slam. In fact, they've gone more than a calendar year without a grand slam. Can't even be thinking that way against Jimenez, a guy who gives up very few home runs. He's allowed just 7 homers this year. And how about this? He's gone 76 straight starts without allowing more than 1 home run. How about that? Playing at Coors Field. So here we go. Bases loaded, 2 down. No score in the 6th. And Davis takes a first pitch curveball for a strike. He just seems to be able to throw that curve for a strike anytime he wants.
When a guy throws 95 miles an hour plus, you have to take that pitch.
And then the fastball, 0-2.
He added, he's been throwing at 93, 94. Here's 96 with the bases loaded.
Yeah, that one deserves a deep breath. .2. Slashed foul. Davis just trying to hang in there.
No, you think a young pitcher would have fear going inside the left-handers after he's hit Fernando Martinez, but pounded 2 back in there against Davis. A lot of shakeoffs here between Jimenez and Olivo.
Fastball away. 1-2.
Let's see if that outside fastball is setting up a changeup. Looks like fastball in again.
Davis measured that one better. One-two. In the dirt. And it's even to Davis, who's fought his way back into the at-bat. Huge pitch coming up here for Jimenez. He doesn't want to go 3-2. Carter on deck.
Well, he's thrown him everything. The fastball, the curve, has not thrown him the changeup.
Seventh pitch of the at-bat upcoming, but first Davis asked for time.
Interesting there. Olivo called for the fastball in. He shook him off. Olivo said, go in again. He still shook him off and going back to the curveball.
Struck him out. Olivo only has to step on the plate. Instead throws to first, and that ends the inning. 6 strikeouts for Jimenez, the third time he's got Ike Davis, and the Mets leave him loaded. Mets Rockies series in Queens with constantly updated insider info and insight on Mets blog. Presented by Verizon. Featured on SNY.TV, your online home of all things New York sports. Seventh inning in a scoreless game. A terrific pitcher's duel between Mike Pelfrey and Ubaldo Jimenez. Ian Stewart leads off in the seventh for Colorado and swings and misses at a first pitch curveball. Stewart has one of the 4 hits for the Rockies tonight. A single to right center in the second. Pelfrey's career high, his season high I should say, is 119 pitches. He's doing 108 tonight. Let's have action going in the bullpen behind Pelfrey in case he tires here in the seventh. And Stewart swings and misses the fastball. Andy Acosta, Pedro Feliciano on call. Emmanuel intimated before the game today that Isanori Takahashi might be moving up in his bullpen echelon. And here we are in the seventh, and it's Feliciano up. Takahashi could be more of an eighth inning guy now. And yet Takahashi is still in line to start on Saturday, although that could change. Lifted down the left field line. Over goes Carter. He's had a busy night. One away.
Yeah, that bullpen has been a little bit like musical chairs, hasn't it, this year?
The way that Jerry was talking today was almost as though he was saying, if Takahashi the next few days can establish himself as a credible late inning kind of guy, that the Mets will probably go into their farm system to get a starter on Saturday. Maybe a Pat Mish or a Dylan G or somebody like that. Here's Miguel Olivo, who's 1 for 2. Singled and stole a base in the 5th inning. And a good breaking ball by Pelfrey gets him ahead.
That was his best slider all night long. Did not slow down his windup. Real aggressive with his approach. Sharp slider.
To the backstop, 1-1.
Couldn't double up on it though.
Olivo is a guy who you can't throw a first pitch fastball to.
You're right. And you can't throw the ball middle of the plate in. That's where his power is. He'd go in off the plate.
One and two, the count with Clint Barmas on deck. Behind Barmas is Jimenez, who you can't imagine Jim Tracy would bat for. So that's got to affect your strategy as a pitcher in one of these late inning situations.
Absolutely. You know that you don't want one of the talented hitters for the Rockies to hurt you if you have the pitcher batting behind him. Jimenez routinely throws 120 pitches per game.
He's only thrown 92 tonight. Past the mound, but right there waiting for it is Tejada. And so Pelfrey has the second out of the inning. Olivo retired, 2 away. And now the number 8 hitter Clint Barmas comes up. Barmas is grounded into a fielder's choice and lined out to short, 0 for 2. Barmas filled in at shortstop while Tulowitzki was down for more than a month. Now back to playing second base. And there's Jimenez coming out on deck, and there's nobody up in the bullpen, so there's no hint of action. So Barmas bats with 2 out and nobody on. And if you're Barmas, you got to be thinking about hitting the ball out of the ballpark, don't you?
Well, at least hitting the ball for an extra base hit. But yes, absolutely.
8 home runs this year for Barmas. And Pelfrey gets ahead 0-2.
Well, he cost himself a strike by trying to fake that bunt on the first pitch.
Mike's about to throw his career high 120th pitch of the night. And he'll throw 121. The first pitch he's really lost command of all night.
That was the first time it looked like he just wanted to throw that 100 miles an hour.
1-2. And the breaking ball down, even on Barmas. 26 batters faced, 19 first pitch strikes. Fastballs, command. Mike Pelfrey returning to action tonight. 2-2. Ground ball down to David Wright. He handles the hop, throws out Barmas. A splendid 7 innings from Mike Pelfrey. A career high 121 pitches. No score.
Don't miss the return of the HBO's Hard Knocks training camp with the New York Jets and get an all-access look at what it takes to make it in the NFL. See it Wednesdays at 10 p.m. starting tomorrow only on HBO. Bob McCarty, who reminds you to drink responsibly. And by State Farm, today's State Farm agent of the day is John Garfinkel of Brooklyn. Official pitch count on Mike Pelfrey tonight, 122, a new career high. Now the Mets will try and get him a run in the bottom of the 7th. Chris Carter leads off and takes inside from Jimenez. Carter has one of the Mets' 3 hits. He singled to left in the 5th and then was thrown out as part of a strike him out, throw him out double play. The Mets had their best chance in the 6th. An infield single by Pelfrey. Fernando Martinez was hit by a pitch. Pagan grounded out. David Wright was walked intentionally to load the bases, but then Jimenez struck out Ike Davis to get himself out of a jam. Carter glaring at Jimenez after that first pitch was inside.
I would not recommend it, Chris.
Getting all animalistic on him. Trying for his 18th win of the year. It would be the most in Rockies history. Last night saw David Price win his 15th, most in Rays history. Here's the 3-0, and he walked him on 4 pitches. So Carter, maybe that glare helped him. And he is aboard the 3rd walk by Jimenez. Well, it's going to be quite a battle for NL Cy Young honors this year. There are 4 of the candidates right there. Adam Wainwright, Roy Halladay, Josh Johnson, Chris Carpenter might force his way back into that.
13-3.
Yeah.
Can't even get on the board.
It has been quite a year for pitchers in the National League. Well, Carter's done for the day. Jeff Francoeur will run for him, carrying the tie-breaking run. Mets have gotten the leadoff man on in 4 consecutive innings now against Jimenez, this time trying to bring him around. Josh Tolle is 0 for 2. Let's see if he's asked to bunt. You've got Tejada on deck, so you'd think not. Although he shows bunt.
A nice job by Jimenez. He held that ball, waited for Josh to tip his hand.
So now do you change up?
He's been conservative all season long. I think he quick pitched him, though. I don't know if Tolle was ready to square around.
Not the first time Jimenez has done that tonight. He did it to Tolle in the 5th inning.
Tolle and got Carter on the steal.
And Tolle swinging, and he drives one to right field. Hop got turned around, and it's over his head and off the Mo zone. Francoeur to 3rd. He'll be held up there. Tolle slides in with a double. 2nd and 3rd, and nobody out.
Well, Josh, awfully quick. That ball is supposed to be away. Drifted back over the middle of the plate. Tolle showing some rare power, getting that ball over the head of Hop. He plays it nicely.
Only the 4th extra base hit for Tolle. Josh Tolle safe at second base. Safe and secure. New York life. Ruben Tejada coming up with 2nd and 3rd and nobody out. But first, Bob Apodaca will go out to the mound to talk to Jimenez, and the Rockies will get their bullpen busy for the first time tonight. Meanwhile, Carlos Beltran has come out on deck to bat for Pelfrey. A leadoff walk to Chris Carter. Double by Josh Tolle. Joe Beimel up in the bullpen for Colorado.
Well, this ball's supposed to be down and away, and the IOTV pitch differential middle. A nice job by Josh, right on top of that baseball.
Yasunori Takahashi, we talked about Jerry looking at him as an 8th inning man. He's about to be that. Up in the bullpen. Mets trying to push across at least 1 run and give Mike Pelfrey a chance for a win. First Tejada and then Beltran. Rockies bring the infield most of the way in.
Most of the way in. They got Francoeur on 3rd base. Some speed, but not great speed, so they can play a little back.
Tejada takes a strike. Ruben is 0 for 2. He's flied to center and grounded to third.
You know, when you're pitching in this situation, you want to pop up for a strikeout. And you saw with that first pitch, he's trying to rush Tejada in, just really knock the bat out of his hands.
And Tejada gets jammed and fouls it off, and it's 0-2.
And once you get up 0-2, there's so many things you can do. You can go back in there. Look at this ball. Very late swing by Tejada.
So Jimenez has him where he wants him after his 100th pitch of the night. Here's the 0-2. Up and away. Going to give Chase the high fastball.
That ball was supposed to be in too, Gary. He just missed. Really just tried to overthrow that one, throw it right past Tejada. He knows he needs to strike out.
One, two. And the slider off the plate. 2 balls, 2 strikes. How many sliders has he thrown tonight?
Not a lot, but he almost dropped down and slung that ball up there and had a lot of bite.
Almost like he's making it up as he goes along.
Exactly. Talked about his intelligence. This kid knows how to pitch intelligently.
2-2. Popped up foul and out of play, so Tejada hanging in there. Well behind in the count 0-2 and trying to fight back.
Isn't it amazing? Almost all good pitchers do the same thing. Santana does it for the Mets. When he gets into trouble, when they get into trouble, they don't want to make a mistake. They use their fastball.
Infield in, 2-2 pitch, and it's in the dirt. Olivo knocks it down, but now it's 3-2 to Tejada. So a good job by Ruben laying off the breaking balls out of the strike zone. And now he's gotten himself to a full count.
Scratching his head, figuring out what he's going to throw. Jerry Manuel's hitters, he's got an option, the fastball in, or with the base open, 3-2 curveball.
And Tejada fouls off the fastball. And the battle continues. This seems strange to say, but Ruben Tejada can take an awful lot of pressure off Carlos Beltran right now.
Yes, he can.
You wouldn't think that would be the role of a 20-year-old kid who's had, 35, 40 games in the big leagues. But where Beltran is at right now, it would sure help him out if Tejada could get the first run home. This will be the 8th pitch of the at-bat from Jimenez. And Tejada takes it in there for a call strike 3. Letter high fastball got him. 7th strikeout for Jimenez. That's the first out.
Well, that's a good pitch. Too close to take. Splits the plate. Generous call by the home plate umpire. From that side angle view, it looks like it might have covered the letters, but it's usually a pitch that you very rarely get.
So now Beltran. And they're going to walk him intentionally and bring up Reyes with the bases loaded. This is a very curious move. Because Reyes, of course, is almost impossible to double up from the left side.
Again, another walk by reputation. Right the inning earlier, and now Beltran.
I wonder whether they're bringing in the lefty to face Reyes, maybe to give themselves a better shot at a double play. Be hard to envision them taking out Jimenez at this point, but you don't know. So this one will load him up. By the way, Beltran over 6,000 at-bats in his major league career, only 21 as a pinch hitter, which made this task even tougher for him. But the Rockies elect to pass him, and let's see what they do here. Reyes coming to the plate. Tom Reynolds, the bench coach, checking the lineup card. Tulowitzki in for a conversation. And it would appear as though Jim Tracy's sticking with his ace to face Reyes.
Well, even at this tender age, Tulowitzki is the captain of this Rockies team. Olivo going out to talk to Jimenez just to get the sign straight. how Jimenez wants to go after Reyes.
Now it looks as though the Rockies are going to play their infield deeper than they did against Tejada, as though they are looking for the double play ball.
I think they are looking for the double play ball, something that very rarely happens when Reyes is sitting from the left-hand side.
Reyes has grounded into 5 double plays this year, 3 as a left-hand batter. So here we go, bases loaded, 1 out. And the first pitch curveball misses for a change, 1-0. Jimenez was throwing first pitch strike after first pitch strike until he walked Carter on 4 pitches to start the inning. Francoeur running for him. Tolley doubled, and Beltran was intentionally walked. No score, bottom of the 7th. And Reyes takes a fastball for a strike. He might not get a better pitch to hit. We'll say 0 for 3 tonight. Mets have been looking for that big hit, other than a home run, for weeks. Reyes lifts one foul, and it's 1-2.
Especially with the bases loaded this season, as you mentioned, Gary. A very defensive swing from Jose Reyes there.
Looking for at least the fly ball that can get that first run in. There's Fernando Martinez on deck. Well, Reyes is not easy to strike out. He's in the top 10 toughest to fan in the league. Manny Corpus up in the bullpen. Here's the 1-2. Foul ball. That one went right off the mask of Olivo. So Reyes and Olivo tangle again.
Wants that pitch up in the strike zone. Not as up as he wanted. Hit him right on the side of the mask.
Well, earlier in the game, Olivo was stealing a base. Reyes couldn't catch the throw, and Reyes' knee and the ball both hit Olivo in his helmet. Now Reyes catches him with a foul ball.
You know, in the outfield, Carlos Gonzalez in left field, a very strong arm. Fowler in center field, strong arm, but erratic. And right fielder Hop, strong arm and accurate.
1-2 to Reyes. Off the plate and bobbled by Olivo, 2-2. So another Met hitter working himself back into the count after falling behind. $115 pitches deep. Jimenez gears up for the 2-2. And the curveball hit in the air to right. That'll get the run in. Back goes Hop. And he makes the catch going away. Francoeur tags and scores. Everybody else moving up. Although Beltran's going to go back to first. It's a sacrifice fly for Jose Reyes. And the Mets break the ice in the 7th and lead it 1-0. RBI number 41 for Reyes.
What an at-bat by Jose Reyes. Got behind early, stayed in there, fouled a couple pitches off, and here on a nasty breaking ball, gets a lot of it and pushes Hop back to the fence. Francoeur is going to score easily. Nice read on second base and the advancement. And Carlos halfway.
So Reyes gets the first run in. Now Fernando Martinez trying to add to it. He's been on base 3 times in a row tonight. And he lays off the up and away fastball. Martinez has walked, reached on an infield hit, and been hit in the back by a pitch. And it's 2-0 with Angel Pagan on deck. Tolley now at third and Beltran at first. Beltran has shown no inclination to try and steal bases. And now it's 3-0 to Martinez. Jimenez has walked 4. 2 of those have been intentional. Three and 1.
If I was Beltran, I think I'd stay put anyways. I'd like to keep that hole between first and second open for Fernando.
Three and 1 to Martinez. And Fernando pops one up behind the plate. That'll come back out of play. Mike Pelfrey now a pitcher of record on the long side. 7 brilliant innings tonight. And now the Mets have gotten him a run. Beltran gets set to run. 3-2 to Martinez. Swing and a miss. He got him with a fastball to end the inning. 8 strikeouts for Ubaldo Jimenez. But the Mets scratch a run. Josh Thole had the big hit in the inning. A booming double off the wall in right field. Reyes hit one to right as well to bring home Frank Core with the game's first run. 1-0 after 7. Jeff Francis as the Mets continue their 3-game series against the Rockies here at Citi Field. Mets-Rockies coverage begins with Subway pregame live tomorrow at 6:30 only on SNY. There are your Mercedes probables for the rest of the series. Nice, who was tremendous in his last start, will take on Francis, coming back off the season on the sidelines. Johan Santana tries for his 10th win in the noon game on Thursday against Jason Hamill. Fernando Martinez moves from right field to left field as we go to the 8th. Jeff Francoeur, who scored the game's first run, stays in right field. And newly minted 8th inning man Isanori Takahashi on to pitch.
The 8th inning trial camp continues. Takahashi pitched on Sunday afternoon in Philadelphia. 2 scoreless innings.
You've heard of Tinkers to Evers to Chance.
That's right.
It's Escobar to Igarashi to, I don't know, there's someone Feliciano to everybody on the staff has really had a chance at that 8th inning. Yeah. 19 of the first 30 games. Remember him?
Yep.
Melvin Mora, the former Met, will lead off as we go to the 8th inning. Mike Pelfrey threw 122 pitches over 7 innings, no runs, 4 hits, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts. As good a bounce-back effort as the Mets could have possibly hoped for from Pelfrey, who wound up out-pitching Ubaldo Jimenez tonight. Mora batting for Jimenez as we start the 8th. And Melvin takes a strike from Takahashi. Rafael Betancourt, the Rockies' 8th inning guy, is up. By the way, Houston Street, the Rockies' closer, is not here tonight, in case the need arises. Q shot down to first, and Davis plays the spinner, 1 away. Street's wife just gave birth yesterday. He expects to rejoin the team tomorrow. Here's Dexter Fowler, who's 1 for 3. And a base hit into right field in the 3rd inning. As of now, Takahashi is still scheduled to start Saturday night against the Phillies.
If he pitches well here, he's not starting on Saturday, I'll tell you that. Got to be careful now if you're David Wright. Dexter Fowler with all that speed. Got to be careful about the bunt.
Gave it even with the bag and right on the line as Fowler takes the changeup away. Well, Takahashi contributed 2 scoreless innings in relief on Sunday in Philadelphia, allowing the Mets to try and fight back in that game against Halladay. Another changeup, this one for a strike.
What about Takahashi? He doesn't seem phased wherever they put him, whether it's long relief early in the season. When he went in as a starter, he was outstanding.
Manny Acosta staying loose. Swing and a miss at the changeup, and it's 1-2.
Hasn't that been the case all season long with trying to put together the 8th inning? They've always had someone out there and someone ready just in case.
Well, why not? Here's the 1-2. Shallow left field. On comes Martinez with a dive, and he got it. Fernando Martinez with a gem for the second out.
What a great decision, and what a gutsy play by Fernando. Being aggressive the whole time. First 7 innings in right field. Moves to left field and makes immediate impact. Another guy who can fly, Gary.
Helps to have that speed in this Citi Field outfield. And Jerry made the move to pinch run for Carter, get Frank Hoare into the game, get Martinez over in left, and it pays off. Here's Helton with 2 out and nobody on. Helton's hit 3 fly balls tonight, 1 to center and 2 to left. Each team with only 4 hits, the only run of the game coming on a sacrifice fly by Jose Reyes in the bottom of the 7th. Meanwhile, the Phillies are getting clobbered by the Dodgers tonight, 11-5 in the 7th. Todd Kendrick got knocked out early. One pops away from Tolley, 1-1. Jason Giambi available. Meanwhile, the Braves are in Houston, and Jurgens and Jay Happ are involved in a scoreless game in the 6th. And Helton takes a strike, 1-2. Most dangerous bat in the lineup, Carlos Gonzalez, standing on deck. 1-2 to Helton. Low and away with the slider. Ubaldo Jimenez, good for 7 innings, but not good enough tonight. In danger of his 3rd loss of the season against 17 wins. 2-2 from Takahashi. And Helton fouls it off. Well, the last game the Mets won on Saturday, they won 1-0. Might have to win this one 1-0 as well.
Well, really the key for Takahashi, though, is Helton. He's got to retire Helton. You don't want Gonzalez coming up as the winning run.
2-2. Popped a mile high. Tejada waiting for it to come down. Side retired. 1-2-3 inning for Takahashi in the 8th inning. We go to the bottom of the 8th with the Mets up 1-0. texter, this was a tough one tonight. 5 players have hit 10 or more home runs in a season with the Mets and Rockies. I can only offer Hojo. I'm not even sure he's right.
Burnitz, Hojo's right. Darryl Boss, Dave Bo.
How about that? Todd Zeal, of course, who played for everybody. I think he had 10 or more home runs for 11 teams, didn't he?
God, I haven't seen Darryl Boston's name in a long time.
My favorite Darryl Boston moment as a Met is you look at Joe Beimel getting ready for the bottom of the 8th. The Mets were playing a game against the Cardinals. It was a scoreless game. Bottom of the 9th, might have been the 10th. Bases loaded. Boston at the plate. I forgot who the pitcher was, but he throws the pitch inside, and the ball disappears. It went right into Debo's shirt. His uniform. Hit batsman, game over, right? But, of course, you know, Darryl Boston's the coolest human being on earth, right? He plucked the baseball out of his shirt with 2 fingers, dropped it on home plate, and walked to first base. It was just magical.
Debo.
Angel Pagan leads off in the bottom of the 8th as the Mets look for some insurance before handing it off to K-Rod in the 9th. We saw the 2 Darryls hit back-to-back home runs off the scoreboard in right field against Xavier Hernandez. Wow. There's Frankie Rodriguez getting ready for his save opportunity. He's been on top of his game lately. Pagan has struck out twice and grounded out tonight. 0 for 3. Batting right-handed for the first time tonight. Waldo Jimenez threw 122 pitches over 7 innings, 1 run, 4 hits, 4 walks, 2 intentional, 8 strikeouts, a hit batsman, and so far, that's enough to beat him. And Pagan fouls it away. Of late, Beimel and Matt Belisle have been the most successful pitchers in the Colorado bullpen. Of course, their bullpen's been messed up a good portion of the season because Houston Street missed half the year because of a variety of injuries. Here's the 1-2. Off the plate, 2-2. Beimel will always live in Met lore for his absence from the 2006 National League Division Series between the Mets and Dodgers. He had been a vital part of the Dodger bullpen that year, but suffered a mysterious cut on his hand on the eve of the postseason. Didn't quite come clean about it at first. Turned out he cut it on a glass in a bar. Pagan pops one up. And Tulowitzki tracking it. 1 away. Let's check in with the studio. Chris Carlin standing by with the New York State Smokers Quit Line game break. Chipper, injury? Come on. Here's David Wright with 1 out. David's 0 for 2 and a walk tonight. Here's your Pittsburgh Paints overhead camera.
You see David all the way back in that box, a little off the plate, but it works better when the left-handers are facing him. That ball's coming into him.
And yet it still seems as though he has trouble reaching that pitch on the outside part of the plate. David's still #1 in the National League hitting against lefties, batting .380 against left-handed pitching. No swing. Phil Cuzzy with the call, 1-2. Looking ahead to the 9th inning, K-Rod's going to have the rough part of the order to face. Gonzalez, Tulowitzki, and Hop, 3, 4, and 5 due up for the Rockies. 1-2 to right. Change away. 2-2. Well, Tapper back to Beimel. And so David's struggles continue. 2 out.
Tonight after the postgame and at 1 a.m., it's your source for the latest news in New York sports. More on the Darrelle Revis holdout. More from the, I guess that's D'Antoni, acting to the Isaiah hiring. And we told you about the Cardinals and the Reds duking it out in Cincinnati. Geico Sports Night tonight after the postgame and at 1 a.m. right here on SNY. Here's Ike Davis. Ike's been up 3 times, struck out all 3 against Ubaldo Jimenez. I wonder whether the shift is messing with his mind tonight. He hasn't seen this before.
I think that Jimenez outstanding pitching against Ike. But you're right, this is some kind of shift.
Buck Showalter's gang trying to go to 7-1. It's like a new team. That's amazing, isn't it?
I mean, we saw Baltimore. They just did not have a lot going. One thing, though, that has been in Buck's favor is Brian Roberts is back and playing well.
He hit his first home run of the year last night. It was a game winner. Check swing, and Ike held it in time. 2-1. I mean, we've seen teams get a bounce from a new manager before, but usually it's a team that has more talent, more chance. I mean, I remember when Davey was fired in 1990. I think Bud Harrelson first 21 games, I think 19-2.
Yeah.
Look at the Rockies last year when Jim Tracy took over.
74-42.
But I don't recall a team as desolate as the Baltimore Orioles making a managerial change and getting this kind of a bounce. Now, who knows how long it's going to last.
What did Adam Jones say? He said everyone's playing great because no one wants to make Buck angry.
It was okay to make the 2 previous managers angry?
I guess.
Who cared about getting Dave Tremblay and Juan Samuel Lambert? See, that's bad. I hate to hear that.
Yeah, of course.
Here's the 3-2. And the breaking ball inside, so Ike is on with a 2-out walk. And Jeff Francoeur will come to bat for the first time. It's like just what the Mets wanted, getting Francoeur up against a lefty, but Jim Tracy's going to change the program.
It's like one of those higher priced players saying as soon as they leave their team, they're going to really get in shape this year for their new club.
You couldn't do that for your old club. Jeez. Rafael Betancourt coming on. The call to the bullpen brought to you by Lincoln Mercury. Mets leading 1-0 in the 8th. We'll be right back.
It's Lincoln Mercury post-game live. Chris Carlin and Bobby Ojeda will have all the interviews, all the analysis, all the highlights coming up right after the game on Lincoln Mercury post-game live only on SNY. Veteran Rafael Betancourt comes on to try and get the final out in the 8th.
Oh, he's had a pretty nice year. And one of the reasons, look at that, only 5 walks and 41 2/3 innings pitched.
Lopsided splits. He's been hit hard by lefties, but the righty's hitting just .211 against him, and that's why he's in to face Frank Core, who has scored the game's only run. That was as a pinch runner in the 7th, now batting for the first time. The last 2 games the Mets have won, Frank Core won with a home run. In Atlanta with a 9th inning drive off Billy Wagner, and then with his 7th inning home run on Saturday against Cole Hamels. The playing time now more difficult for Frenchie to come by. Will probably be in the lineup tomorrow, you would suspect, with Jeff Francis, a lefty, throwing for Colorado. Betancourt gets ahead 0-2. Rafael Betancourt, who a few years ago in Cleveland had one of the greatest years that a setup man has ever had. Hasn't had quite the same year this year, but still a very valuable commodity in the 8th inning of a game. Oh, 0-2 to Frank Core. And he struck him out on 3 pitches. So Betancourt takes care of Frank Core, and now it's up to K-Rod to try and put on the finishing touches. So the Mets up 1-0 heading to the 9th. Spectacular lately.
He really has, and he's had an economy of his pitches. 24 saves on this season.
Numbers brought to you by Chevy. His last 7 appearances, 8 in the 3rd innings, no runs, 1 hit, 1 walk, 10 strikeouts. His best groove of the year. Carlos Gonzalez leads off for Colorado and takes the first pitch curveball for ball 1. Gonzalez has one of the 4 Colorado hits. He doubled off the wall in left field in the 6th. Troy Tulowitzki and Brad Hopp to follow for the Rockies in the 9th. The Mets lead the major leagues with 15 shutout victories. The Rockies have only been shut out 4 times this season. Amazingly, the Mets did not have a 9-inning 1-0 victory until Saturday in Philadelphia. Now they have a chance to do it for the 2nd time in 3 games. One and 1 to Gonzalez, and he pounds one into the ground, a foul ball. 1-2. Gonzalez with 25 home runs, tied for 4th in the National League. There are his numbers against K-Rod. Bidding for his 25th save. That's that recent stretch for K-Rod. He's just been superb. Now the 1-2. Just missed. Went right to Tolley's glove. Didn't get the call.
Well, that was a good pitch after the first 3 curveballs to Gonzalez. Tried to surprise him inside. I think it was to set up the changeup.
Off his leg, so it's a foul ball.
Well, you see how this young man has hit all these home runs. He generates some serious bat speed.
So 2 balls well to left field today. One that was caught on the warning track. The other one that hit the padded fence for a double. 2-2. Hit hard toward the hole. Nice play by Ike Davis, and he shoves it over to K-Rod for the out. Ike Davis playing off the line and cutting down the hole. Nicely done for the first down.
Well, you don't tell me defense doesn't win games. Ike was closer to that line than you usually see him, but just a fine play. Soft hands. Ball's almost behind him. Snaps to make that play, and the little hand grenade over there at first base. But look at that ball. Behind him by 2 feet, able to still make that play.
Was Ike on the shot put team in high school? 1 out, and here's Tulowitzki, who's 0 for 3. Grounded out twice, flied out once, and K-Rod hits the outside corner with a fastball. 0-1. Tulowitzki 0 for 1 in his career against K-Rod. He was trying to save it from Mike Pelfrey, who was nothing short of fantastic tonight. And the breaking ball fouled off, and it's 0-2.
I don't know what K-Rod has done, but he has tightened up his slider. It's breaking later. It's not as big and rounded.
And he's been throwing more and more strikes. Here's the 0-2. Popped it up. Will it stay in play? Tolley coming back. But it's in the crowd. Tulowitzki with 10 home runs on the year. Missed more than a month because of a fractured hand. He's been hot with the bat since coming back, but it's hit just 1 home run in 2 weeks since returning. Matt Belisle looking on from the Rockies bullpen. Ubaldo Jimenez hoping his team can get him off the hook. Here's the 0-2. And the breaking ball in the dirt. 1-2.
It's nice to see. You have a pitcher there that He's on the losing end of the decision right now. He's still back out there cheering his teammates on.
Is he one of those no ice guys?
Yeah, it looks like it.
Like Juan or Sanchez? Aren't very many of them around baseball these days.
Well, whatever he's doing, it's working.
Get that forearm loose.
K-Rod ahead 1-2 on Tulowitzki. And now it's 2-2. Brad Hopp standing on deck, a left-hand hitter. That's living on the edge with their limited offense these days. Looking for another shutout. 2-2. He struck him out. 2 down.
Well, one of the reasons that he's had so much success of late is K-Rod has really been so much more aggressive than he was in the beginning of the year. Throws his ball right by Tulowitzki.
So now the Rockies are down to their final line with Brad Hopp, who's 0 for 2 and a walk tonight. Hopp with 7 home runs this year. 0 for 2 in his career against K-Rod. 2 out top of the ninth. And Hopp backs one off his leg, 0-1. Ian Stewart will be next if the Rockies can keep it going. K-Rod trying to make it moot. Jimenez 17-2, in danger of going to 17-3. Here's the 0-1. Changeup misses. Fastball, excuse me, 1-1.
Two-seamer. That's why you look like a change, because the way it ran away from the hitter.
Two and 1 to Hopp. That's trying to support Mike Pelfrey's best effort in almost 2 months. 7 scoreless innings for Pelfrey tonight, and K-Rod trying to put on the bow. And the curveball missed, and it's 3-1. That'll set Jared to pacing.
Everyone's concerned about that arm of Jimenez.
Didn't look like there was much wrong with it tonight.
No.
Now K-Rod behind 3-1 on Hopp. And he checks his swing, takes the curveball for a strike, and it's 3-2.
Well, K-Rod, the way he is going after Hopp, you can tell that he does not want to give him a fastball to hit. And that generous strike zone of unplayed umpire Rapuano rearing its head again.
$30,036 roaring. Ground ball. Tejada shuffles over in front of it, and the ball game is over. K-Rod with a 1-2-3 ninth for the save from Mike Pelfrey, who gets his first win since June the 25th with a brilliant 7-inning performance. And the Mets take the opener of the series from the Rockies, their second 1-0 victory in the last 3 games.
Well, 25 saves now for K-Rod, the 11th win for Mike Pelfrey. Josh Tolley probably the biggest at bat with the double to drive pinch runner from first base, Trent Core, and then scored on the Reyes great at bat with the sacrifice fly to right field.
The Mets were unable to overcome the ace Roy Halladay on Sunday, but they get just enough to beat the ace Ubaldo Jimenez tonight. K-Rod picks up his 25th save as you check out the Delta summary, but Mike Pelfrey is the story tonight. Pelfrey, who had been 0-4 with an ERA of 9 over his previous 7 starts, was faultless tonight. 7 scoreless innings to give the Mets a 1-0 win and get them back to 500 for the season. 16 shutout wins for the Mets this year, a major league high. Back with more from Citi Field in a moment.